You be working?
I finished early, so I thought I'd surprise you in the engine room. Only you weren't there.
They needed someone to run next year check up on the Scotties, so I volunteered.
Of course you did. What are Scotties?
The Montgomery Scott generators? They shield the outside of the ship from space debris, provide the gravitational force on the inside. Basically, keep us from floating around all day.
Sounds important. Why do the senior mechanics always make you do the exterior work?
I've been with the mechanics for almost 7 years.
Yeah, but weren't you only on appliance duty until last year? Seems kind of weird they'd make you go from small scale checkups to life risking maintenance so quickly.
I volunteered.
Why would you do that?
I enjoy it. Besides, it was just a routine checkup. Nothing crazy.
Not exactly safe either.
What fun is safe?
More fun than watching you float into the galactic abyss.
You'd miss me, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah.
You're such a Ramadork.
What did you call me?
Ramadork.
Star Chaser?
Orson Blood.
Humanoid?
Techno Lump.
Why don't you come out with me tonight?
I thought you said you hated it outside.
Not out, you know what I mean. It's the 20th day of the Arctime cycle. You know what that means?
Pork for dinner?
The dance by the river.
Do we have to?
Come on, it'll be fun. There'll be music, dancing.
I hate dancing.
You don't have to dance. Why don't you just come and hang out with people at the party?
I hate parties.
Well, what do you like?
I don't mind you. Why don't we hang out just the two of us tonight?
Because that's what we do every night.
And it's been great so far, don't you think?
Well, why do we always have to do what you want?
Because I'm the stubborn one.
Well, you're gonna have to give in sometime.
Must we adhere to these mindless ARC traditions?
Sometimes mindless can be fun.
Why don't you just stay inside the ark and socialize? Why don't you just be more free? Why don't you just find some useful stuff to analyze? Why don't you just be like me? Why don't you just loosen up a bit, come dine with us? Why don't you just join the crowd? Why don't you just launch your fear and show some craziness? Why don't you just laugh out loud? Time to be together differently. Say the word, I'll take the lead. Stay the same, I'll like you anyway. That's guaranteed. Why don't we just swig some fancy drinks at Ender's place? Why don't I just hold you tight?
Why don't you just drop the cockiness and poker face? I know you still fear I'll bite. Why don't you just let me be the loner introvert?
Why don't you just be less weird? Why don't you just style your hair and maybe wear a skirt?
Why don't you just grow a beard?
Time to be together differently. Say the word, I'll take the lead. Stay the same, I'll like you anyway. That's guaranteed. Why don't you just take what comes without the attitude? Why don't you just write a poem?
Why don't you just mind your P's and Q's and don't be rude? Why don't you just take me home?
Why don't you just see the brighter side of being here? Why don't you just learn to dance?
Why don't you just worry less about the atmosphere? Why don't you just learn romance? Time to be together differently.
Doncha Just.